We got Greg Cronin, Gulf Coast President of the Citizens Bank here in the Element Wealth Studios. Greg, good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. So this is a great event, as I know it has been for many years. You know, one of the I think, really intriguing and positive aspects of this event, Greg, is that it's a situation where we get the university and the School of Business together with private industry where the rubber meets the road, and we need more of that kind of integration, right? More of that kind of information and knowledge transfer between the education community and the private sector.
Absolutely. It's a great partnership, and it's one that they've been doing for a while. And, it's the networking opportunity, the opportunity to hear about what's going on in the industry. We have students here that are, what we really need to be working on every day in terms of those who are going to follow and lead in this industry and everything. And so it really is. It's a great opportunity. Dr. Cyree and his team do a great job. And but again, it's a great way to get together and the partnership between business and education and all those that come together.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Dr. Cyree is totally committed to this, and I think he realizes the value of this, which is why he supports it. Yeah. And is so involved in it.
And I think it's seen also in the growth. I believe we started years ago at the inn. We outgrew that, and here on site, we were in the auditorium at one time, and now we're back in the banquet room, and we've got a full house.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So it's grown, and I think it's and I know in our industry we talk about this year round, and it's not uncommon for somebody to be on the phone with another banker and they want to know, are you going to the Symposium?
Yeah.
And so it's just great attendance, and again, it's just a great way to kind of visit. And with COVID, we missed a couple of years, I believe 1 or 2 years with that. And, when we got back together, you really kind of had an appreciation for the opportunity to come and visit and listen. And we have some great topics, some things that as bankers.
What are you interested in? I'm sorry to interrupt. What are the bankers interested in this year, you think?
I think the FinTech, there's a FinTech conversation going on right now. And I think that's a big part of how does the banking community, how do we fit into that? We had a panelist earlier this morning that was kind of talking about, where the banking sector is, where FinTechs are. And we've got, as bankers, in my opinion, as bankers, we've got to kind of determine how we're going to navigate through that sector. And I think I think we're at a real point in the industry in terms of where we go and how we do it and what we accept as our role in terms of doing that business.
Yeah. Well, you've got to be, of course, careful about the pitfalls and any sort of regulatory concerns as well. They're always top of mind for your industry. I think the most dead-gum regulated industry in the country, honestly.
If it's not, I don't want to be in the other.
So you got that, but also it represents an opportunity, maybe a new frontier.
Yeah, and the technology, there's so much you can do in technology. That's overstated, obviously, but there's so much you can do with technology, and the millennials, or as future generations grow, their knowledge and the way they do things is going to be different than the way we do it today. I was talking with a banker in here a little earlier, and we were talking about, I think it's probably our responsibility to maybe start setting that course. But I think it's going to be the responsibility of the younger leadership that's coming up that will figure out how to implement that and how to make it work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's exciting because, you are a bit limited in the banking industry on what you can sell. And so this kind of opens up maybe a whole new door of a new world. It's just in its infancy, and so it really, it hasn't seasoned yet. And I know folks are treading lightly, but I think you're right to investigate it and find out what it's all about and how it makes sense.
Last year there was a statistic that was thrown up, and I'm going to be kind of close. I'm not going to be exact, but I believe it was just 10 years ago. They were looking at what type of payment things that people were using, and mainly it was the debit cards. So debit cards were used about 75% of the time. The others were used about 25% of the time. 10 years later, that's reversed. Only about 25% of usage is with bank debit cards. That has shrunk, and people have gone to other avenues.
How about that?
PayPals,
Yeah,
the Venmos, those type of things. And so that's where the industry is going. I think that's a real challenge for how we adapt and how we move forward.
Yeah, I'm sure you've got to incorporate that into your strategic planning. Absolutely. Yeah. Greg Cronin, Gulf Coast president of the Citizens Bank, has been our guest here on Middays. Appreciate it, Greg. Good
Glad
to see
be with you. Thank you.